Welcome back, you bloodthirsty sweethearts. We've been warning you not to underestimate guys with glasses. Today we're going to learn about one of the most rip your face off and wear it at your own funeral hardcore mother lovers to become a U.S. president. We're talking about the one, the only, Teddy fucking Roosevelt and the Battle of San Juan Hill. Teddy Roosevelt had asthma and severe. Teddy Roosevelt, well, he had asthma and severe nearsightedness, but still managed to plow more ass than one of those dildo machines on Pornhub with an engine set to ramming speed. He spoke multiple languages, was a trained academic, and managed to piss off one of his Harvard professors to the point the man yelled, "You see here, Roosevelt, I'm the one teaching this class." Well, Roosevelt unzipped his pants, pulled out his meaty dick, and slapped it on the desk, firmly establishing his dominance. I don't know if that happened at Harvard, but it'd be pretty cool if it did. He was one of the youngest persons ever to become a state representative for New York when he was elected at the age of 23. When his wife and his mother died on the same fucking day, Valentine's Day, this cold-hearted son of a bitch ditched everything and moved out. He went west looking to shoot some people in order to heal his wounded heart. God damn, this dude's savage. While he was out west, some grade A pecker lover named Mike Finnegan and his gang of seaman aficionados stole old Teddy Roosevelt's boat. Instead of crying like a little girl about it, Roosevelt pursued them for 2 weeks through the Dakota Badlands, kicked their asses, handed them over to the authorities, and got his fucking boat back. President McKinley appointed Roosevelt as the Assistant Secretary of the Navy in 1897. When the USS Maine sank off the coast of Cuba, all evidence at the time pointed to the Spanish. So, while his boss was on vacation, Roosevelt sent Admiral Dewey to the Philippines to take out the Spanish Navy. Roosevelt then declared war on Spain, despite having no authority to do so. After acting on Roosevelt's orders, Dewey sank the entire Spanish fleet at Manila in about 4 hours. Now, God damn it, I'm getting a hard on just talking about it. Teddy, you are a warmongering hard ass. Immediately after issuing the declaration of war and giving the Spanish Armada a one-way, all-expense-paid trip to the bottom of the fucking ocean, Roosevelt resigned his post as assistant secretary like a frickin' boss. Then, he formed his own volunteer cavalry regiment called the Rough Riders. He took anybody who wanted to join, regardless of race or creed. He had tough-as-nail cowboys, Indian scouts, bandits and sheriffs, and even a bunch of Ivy League football hooligans and academics. Because why? Why the fuck not? This is America. Flash forward to the campaign in Cuba. It was a miserable, horrible slog through some of the worst terrain and climate on Earth. The fighting around the vicinity of Santiago de Cuba was a fierce series of ambushes and counter-ambushes. The Rough Riders were trained as cavalry, but had to fight dismounted throughout the entire campaign. Roosevelt, for his part, aside from being a promising commander, he showed incredible personal courage. On the 1st of July, 1898, the United States forces reached the vicinity of Santiago itself. They had an obstacle in their line of advance, 2 hills, Kettle and San Juan Hill. They had to be taken, and Roosevelt was tasked with this daunting objective. At his flanks were the Buffalo Soldiers and a regiment of the regular infantry. But the volunteers would be the tip of the spear. It was Lieutenant Pershing, as in Black Jack Pershing. He himself would personally hand Roosevelt orders to advance and kick him in the teeth. Enough said. They began charging the open ground in front of the heights, advancing on Kettle Hill. Both sides had machine guns. Both sides had artillery. And the advance, well, it was pure hell on both sides. Still, the riders charged through, killing the defenders of Kettle Hill to a man. Roosevelt's glasses were shot off his fucking face. He put on a second pair he kept hidden in his hat. His fucking hat. Still in command, he turned the Spanish Maxim guns on San Juan Hill as the Buffalo soldiers and regulars advanced on the target. Not content to sit on Kettle Hill like a soy boy, Roosevelt began charging towards San Juan Hill. He made it about 20 yards before realizing only 5 men were following him. His main force hadn't heard his command in all the confusion and noise. He called them a bunch of pussies, waved his revolver over his head like a madman, said like, if you're, and yelled, if you're dying, let's die on San Juan Hill. The Buffalo soldiers and regulars were catching hell. Teddy's exhausted men arrived just in time. Between the two forces, they were able to break through the Spanish defenses and finish off the garrison the old-fashioned way, by stabbing them to fucking death. The meat grinder ended with 144 dead, 1,024 wounded Americans, and to the Spanish, 114 dead, 366 wounded, and 44 prisoners. For his part, Roosevelt was lauded by all of his men as a true American warrior. He led from the front while men died all around him, kept his composure, and far exceeded the limits of his objective by taking Kettle Hill and pushing on to San Juan Hill despite heavy losses. Another little anecdote about Teddy Roosevelt. Many years later, while giving a speech about American exceptionalism in Milwaukee, a gunman shot him in his chest in an attempt to assassinate him. It was only after his speech ended that he went to the hospital to get the bullet removed. After his death years later, a notable politician remarked, "Death had come to take him sleeping, for if Roosevelt had been awake, there would have been a fight." And for that, we salute you, Mr. Roosevelt. Until next time, sleep tight and stack bodies.